Somebody says the loan got denied, and that one word ends the conversation. The file gets set down or shipped somewhere else or written off. But here's the problem: denied is a label, not a diagnosis. The automated underwriting system did not deny the loan, it returned a recommendation. And if you cannot distinguish a recommendation from a decision, you may abandon a file before identifying its actual review path, or keep pushing a file without recognizing a true barrier. Before we read a single finding, three things have to stay separate, because collapsing them is exactly how originators misread a file. The published rules: Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USDA, DULPA, the FHA Total Scorecard, and USDA's GUS return a recommendation: approve, eligible, accept, refer, caution, or ineligible. VA runs through DU or LPA. That output is information, not a verdict, a separate layer, a human credit decision made by the lender. The AUS did not deny the loan, it returned a recommendation. Your job is to read it, not to obey a label. Automated underwriting systems, DULPA, Total Scorecard, GUS, return a recommendation, not a denial. A recommendation such as refer or caution is information for a licensed professional to interpret. The credit decision is made separately by the lender. The AUS recommendation is not the lender's adverse action decision. A decline or other adverse action is a decision the lender makes and communicates. So when you hear the AUS denied it, translate it immediately. The AUS returned a recommendation, and separately, somebody made a decision. Those are two different events, and the fix depends on which one you're actually looking at. A refer or caution recommendation routes the file to manual underwriting. It does not by itself mean the borrower is ineligible. It also does not mean the borrower qualifies. It means a licensed professional must review the file under the applicable manual underwriting guidelines. Refer is not the borrower can't qualify, and it's not the borrower will qualify either. It's a routing signal. The file moves to a human under the applicable manual underwriting guidelines. What happens next depends on the review, not on the word. So refer means dead is wrong, and I'll just get it to approve somewhere as a guarantee is also wrong. Neither is a diagnosis. An ineligible result tells you a specific eligibility requirement was not met as the file was entered. It must be read through the exact eligibility messages in the data submitted. Some are correctable data or structure issues, others reflect a true agency or program barrier. The messages, not the word ineligible, identify which. Ineligible is not a mood the engine is in. It's pointing at a specific requirement that wasn't met as the file was entered. The eligibility messages tell you which one. Sometimes that traces back to a data or structure issue in how the file was built. Sometimes it's a genuine agency or program barrier. You don't know which until you read the messages against the data, and ineligible always means the loan is dead is a guess, not a read. An approve, eligible, or accept recommendation is not a lender approval, and a refer is not a lender denial. The lender's credit decision is a separate layer. The recommendation informs it, but the licensed professionals and the lender make the actual decision. This cuts two ways. A favorable recommendation is not a promise the lender approves. The decision layer is separate, and a lender may still decline. And a refer is not the lender saying no. A licensed professional may still work it manually. The recommendation informs the decision, it doesn't make it. So when a file comes back and someone calls it denied, the move isn't a reflex. It's three questions. What did the AUS actually recommend? What findings or eligibility messages drove that? And what decision, if any, did the lender separately make? Answer those in order, and you're reading the file instead of reacting to a label. The AUS returns a recommendation. Refer and caution route to a human. Ineligible points at a specific message. And the lender's decision is a separate layer, four ideas, and they change how you read every declined file. Risk Sculptor is not a lender, underwriter, AUS, LOS, POS, CRM, pricing engine, or approval engine. The licensed mortgage professional remains responsible for program fit, lender overlays, borrower communication, disclosures, and submission decisions. Risk Sculptor does not determine eligibility or make any credit decision without naming the borrower, lender, or anyone involved. The last time you heard a file was denied, was it actually a denial or a recommendation somebody read as one?